there is still a great need in what I'd call like the highways and byways. In a place like Coldwater, Mississippi, which is, I think in the city there's about 1,500 people. In the area there's probably about 12,000, but that's scattered pretty wide. There are good Bible preaching churches here, but there is still a need for more. On any given Sunday, there's still thousands of people that are not involved in any type of church. Proclaiming Christ, cultivating community, and making disciples. And obviously, proclaiming Christ and His gospel is the main work. But in a place like this that is so rural and spread out, cultivating community is really a huge heartbeat, creating a faith family. What we're really starting to see is we're going to have to be the catalyst for community in Coldwater if we're going to interact with people in ways that are meaningful, not only for the sake of the gospel, but for the community to have some civic pride or have something fun and enjoyable that they can come to and participate in and get to know their neighbors. Coldwater doesn't have much of even a school system. I think their schools stop at like the 5th grade. One of the things we hope to do is to have everything from art markets or farmers markets hosted on the side of our property over here, to block parties, things that will create a sense of community, which will then in turn give us opportunities to connect with the community. So one of the things we're most excited about right now is after a 1.5 year process of trying to gain a core group, restarting that probably 3 times at this point, launching back in September of 2024, and being about 9 months from there, just celebrating Easter just this past weekend, we finally have found a house. The house is only 10 minutes away instead of 30 minutes away. Even in this area, it was hard to find anything that was either in our price range or didn't need a bunch of work. So part of our discipleship strategy will be to use this house that's in Senatobia, like I said, 10 minutes down the road, to have people over for dinner. We've got a pool, to have people over for pool parties, to cook out, to reach the people who are in our neighborhood, but also as we're meeting people in Coldwater, inviting people over for a barbecue, or to, maybe our kids are going to school together now. Those types of things, that more life-on-life dynamic is what I want to not only model now that we're actually going to be in the community, but that's what I want others to start doing, is to start seeing us having not only them, but strangers, people we barely know, in our house, feeding them, interacting with them, learning about their lives, and engaging them in a way that gives us those doors to walk through and share the gospel. Maybe for rural church planting very specifically, I've started to realize that a lot of our partnerships are probably going to need to last longer than maybe what it was like 10 or 20 years ago to plant a church. And so it taking us just a 1.5 years to get here, to live here, to me says that a lot of our church partners, which are all of them are great and they all seem to be all in and helping us, that might be, instead of what used to be 20 years ago, you hit that 3-year mark and you're supposed to be good, or at worst it's 5 years. It could be 5 years, 7 years, 10. It's going to take longer, I think, to establish rural church plants than maybe it does in even certain urban contexts, definitely suburban contexts. We have more people, more fluency and things like that. So my hope is that as churches like yours comes alongside church plants like us in these areas, they realize that this isn't a 1, 2, maybe even 3-year commitment. This could be a 5-year, 10-year commitment to help not only come alongside and physically do things, but to financially support a church plant.